Okay, let's dive right in. A new AI model called MiniMax 2.5 has just dropped, and it is sending some serious shockwaves through the entire tech industry. So we're going to break down exactly what it is, how it works, and why it might just change the economics of artificial intelligence forever. This is the phrase you're going to hear everywhere when people talk about MiniMax 2.5. And look, this isn't just some marketing slogan. It points to a really fundamental shift. We're talking about a model that isn't just a small upgrade, but one that completely changes the relationship between performance and cost in AI.
So, at its core, MiniMax 2.5 isn't being positioned as just another chatbot you mess around with. No, its creators are calling it a digital employee. Think about that for a second. An agentic model built from the ground up to perform sustained, independent work on complex, multi-step tasks out in the real world.
Okay, so digital employee sounds cool, but what can it actually do? Well, it all comes down to this: delivering absolutely top-tier, elite performance, but for a price that is just shockingly low. So let's dig into the numbers. First up, coding. In this critical area, this thing is an absolute monster. It scores an incredible 80.2% on the SWE bench verified. And you gotta understand, this isn't some easy test. We're talking seriously complex software engineering problems. That score puts it right up there in the same league as the big, expensive, closed-source models from giants like OpenAI and Anthropic. But here's what's really fascinating. It shows this kind of emergent architect mindset. It doesn't just jump in and start hammering out code. No, it actually uses what they call thinking tokens to map out the whole project structure first. It writes the specs before it writes a single line of code. It behaves more like a seasoned software engineer than just some text-generating parrot. And it's not a one-trick pony. We're not just talking about coding here. For tasks that need real planning and tool use, what we call agentic tasks, its ELO score is a massive 1215. Just to be clear, that number puts it firmly in the absolute top tier of open weights models anywhere in the world. Period. And on top of all that performance, it is crazy fast. The specialized Lightning version, it hits 100 tokens per second. That's so fast that complex multi-step interactions with the AI feel pretty much instantaneous. You can say goodbye to that frustrating lag. And this chart right here, this just puts the whole disruption into perfect perspective. On the one hand, you're getting performance that's right up there with elite models like Claude Opus, which is, a gold standard for quality. But on the other hand, you're paying as little as 1/10 the cost. This right here is what's breaking all the old rules. So you see all this, and you have to ask, how is this even possible? This mix of elite performance and ridiculously low cost, it just feels like it shouldn't exist. It completely shatters the curve we thought we understood in AI. So what's the secret sauce? All right, let's get under the hood and look at the training. The real innovation here isn't just about throwing more data or bigger computers at the problem. Nope, it's about a totally revolutionary training philosophy, and it's all built around a framework they call Forge. The model's incredible performance isn't just one magic trick. It's really three key pieces working together in perfect harmony. You've got an agent native reinforcement learning framework, a special algorithm for a massive speedup, and a super efficient model architecture. First, let's talk about how it learns, because this is a big deal. Traditional models learn from static stuff like books and Wikipedia. But M25, it's trained in interactive real-world software. It learns by actually doing things in browsers, in coding environments, in Office apps. This teaches it real practical skills, like how to reason through steps, how to recover from errors, and how to plan for the long haul. Okay, so the second piece of the puzzle is this thing called the CISPO algorithm. What this does is it lets that hands-on interactive training scale up, like massively. We're talking across more than 200,000 different environments at once. And the result? A 40 times training speed up. That means the model can learn these really complex, long-running jobs that older methods just couldn't handle. And finally, let's talk about the architecture. This is the key to its efficiency. It uses what's called a mixture of experts, or MOE design. Now, what does that mean? Well, the whole model has a massive 229 billion parameters worth of knowledge. But, and this is the genius part, for any single task, it only activates about 10 billion of them. It's kind of like having a gigantic library, but instead of reading every book for every question, you just pull out the one specific book you need. So this is the really crucial point. That MOE architecture That's what makes the whole intelligence too cheap to meter thing possible. It gives the model this vast ocean of knowledge to draw from, while keeping the actual cost to run it, the inference cost, super, super low. It's basically the best of both worlds. Okay, so with all this revolutionary tech under the hood, the million-dollar question is, how does MiniMax 2.5 really stack up against the big dogs from Silicon Valley? Let's take a look. This table pretty much tells the whole story, doesn't it? M2.5 carves out this totally unique and really powerful spot for itself. Yeah, it has a huge parameter count, but look at the number of active parameters. It's tiny compared to its competitors. You combine that with the fact that it's open weights, and that's the recipe for its ultra-low cost. That's what makes it such a game changer. Okay, so all of this leaves us to the most important question of all. What does this actually mean for the rest of the industry? What are the ripple effects going to be from this new way of building AI? While experts think this is forcing a major pivot in Silicon Valley, the success of M2.5 is basically hitting the fast forward button on a trend away from just bigger is better. Now it's all about efficiency. So we can probably expect to see a lot more reinforcement learning, more training in real environments, wider use of these sparse MOE architectures, and a focus on rewarding models for actual outcomes. Did it actually fix the bug? Not just did it write pretty text. The financial impact here could be absolutely huge. Some people are already calling it SaaS deflation. I mean, think about it. When an AI agent can do the work of a junior developer or an analyst for literal pennies, that puts unbelievable pressure on all those startups that are just fancy wrappers around an API. It makes you question the fundamental price of all kinds of enterprise software. And that leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. Not too long ago, the DeepSeek model completely shocked the world by proving you could train a world-class AI on the cheap. But the question MiniMax 2.5 is forcing us all to ask now is this: has it just proven that soon you'll be able to run one for practically nothing? The answer to that question could redefine the entire next decade of technology.